Yo, what's up? I'm Coach Morris. You're now listening to the Line for Line Podcast Network. Tune in.
Shout out T-Rat, tricking you savvy. Know they coming if I send on the Addy. See, we just living by the code, no capping. Yeah. It's more than a podcast, it's a life hack for a lost soul that was on the verge trying to figure how to get their life back. Real talk. See, you got a voice on this podcast. You can be you on this podcast. Educate all the youth on this podcast. Elevate me and you on this podcast. That's the reason we here, okay? It's family and friends, okay? Be real, you ain't gotta pretend, okay? Okay.
Yo, what up? You guys are tuning in to another episode of podcast post-game show with Coach Morris. Coach AC, what up, man? How you doing? How you feeling, man?
Good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm great, especially after a win. So let's just dive right in, man. We just got done with a Saturday game playing against Chicago Hope Academy. This is your first year coaching high school basketball. But actually, before we get into that, let's just get a little bit of background about you. Like, talk about where you played in high school, where you played in college, and then how you got to coaching high school basketball.
So I went to Indian Trail. Kind of crazy now that I'm on the Southside team now. So Southside, and so I went to Indian Trail, played there for 4 years under Al Anderson. After that, I decided to go play basketball at Aurora University. 45 minutes west of Chicago. Played there for 2 years. After that, kind of hung up the shoes, and then transferred over to La Crosse, University of Wisconsin La Crosse, and just finished out school there. But yeah, that's my little basketball journey, I guess you could say. Been coaching, been helping you volunteer with Evolution. Just been doing that. Coached the 8th grade boys basketball team up in La Crosse while I was up there. So that was pretty cool doing that, helping the youth out. And just been doing that, working with my brother, coaching my brother's teams whenever I get the chance to. So yeah, that's a little bit of basketball background, I guess you could say.
Excellent. Thanks for that. So shout out to your little brother. How old is he? 10 years old?
11.
11 years old. What grade? 5th?
4th.
So he's in 4th grade. You've actually coached his teams. You probably give him all types of advice. So shout out to little bro, even though he's a Duke fan, and I'm a big UNC Chapel Hill fan. I still like him. I love his game. So
yes, sir. Appreciate
number
it.
Love for him. So I'm looking forward to him being a Tremper Trojan in the future.
Hopefully one day.
I'm just saying. So back to the game today. Again, you're a first-year high school basketball coach. Talk about what it was like to be coaching in that game, winning by 4, Saturday afternoon. Just talk about the experience that you had today.
I feel like we've been in a lot of close games this year. So, I mean, those are always fun but stressful at the same time. As a coach, like, you always want to win big, but it makes the game more, I guess, entertaining and fun to be able to in those tight games, because when you're a player, you love being in those moments. And I was a player 4 years ago, so I still get that adrenaline rush, and I'm sure you still get that adrenaline rush when we're in that tight game. But, I mean, it's really cool to see what we're teaching the kids in those critical situations and them being able to execute it. And throughout the game, they just kept battling and believing in what we were saying. So them just really persevering and listening to what we said throughout the game and not getting too overwhelmed throughout the game and staying level-headed it's always cool to see those kids keep fighting, because that's all we ask for. I mean, me and you say it all the time, like we're just saying, just give it 110%, leave it all on the court, act like it's going to be your last game ever playing ever again. And that's what they did tonight, and that's why we came out, pulled through a W, and was able to execute down the stretch in those games. So, I mean, it's always a pleasure playing in those games, but it's always stressful at the same time.
So this is your first year coaching. Talk about the experience of being a high school basketball coach, and is it what you expected now that you've coached probably half the season so far? Is it all of what you expected when you think about a high school basketball coach? Looking back, Coach Al Anderson, ITA,
Yep.
Did you think about all the things that you've witnessed and experienced so far? Like that's what a high school basketball coach does?
You think the high school basketball coaching, obviously you're not at the level of college and stuff, right? Obviously. But man, what I see you go through on a daily basis, just little things like so far beyond basketball, just teaching the kids basketball goes way beyond that. And just seeing all those different things, like getting the jerseys, like when you're in college, like you got other people worrying about doing that, but jerseys, basketballs, like everything, just the little things just to prepare for the season. So, I mean, I didn't really expect it like that because I knew there's other things, but I didn't know how many other things. But, I mean, just being a player and really kind of knowing what's going into it, it kind of prepared me. But at the same time, I've been learning so much from all the coaches on the staff. And, I mean, it's just such a great learning experience. And I really think that this opportunity and everything is just blossoming and really awesome to go through. So the experience was something I expected, but something that I'm always learning from the experience.
Now, I do want to bring up the fact that, of course, when, I got the job and then now I'm moving into my second year, knowing that, sometimes coaches' lives change. Mm-hmm. And I had a couple of coaches that had some opportunities that were far greater than, using that time to coach basketball. So they had to move on. And I had to have those spots filled. I just want to throw it out there. When I first approached you about the job, talk about that and then your journey from there, like what you had, like other aspirations as far as moving into your career, and then bring it to like almost till today.
It's so crazy that you bring that up because I remember exactly where I was on the couch, where I was when you texted me that. I know it's just so crazy remembering this little detail because maybe it was just meant to be. Mm-hmm. And but I remember sitting on my couch, I get a text from you, and because we just talked at the Kingfish game earlier that summer because I was working internship there. Did that, and you just texted me, hey, AC, you trying to get some coaching experience? And I'm thinking like, damn, like. He's texting me right now about this because I was going to take a job down in Tampa working for the Yankees as a ground crew. Would work the Yankees during the spring season, and then I'd work their single A team. So I was literally going to take that. I was like, oh, I'm so ready to move down to Tampa. Just got done with graduating school and my internship. I'm like getting a job right away. And then just some things didn't – I just got way ahead of myself. Thought it was way sweeter than it really was. And so that fell through. Literally, like a couple days after, I'm like, well, looks like I can do my coaching and do what I want to do as well. Just another thing. So then I hit you back up. I'm like, Coach, I seen that job's still open online. Wondering if I should still be able to apply and still able to get that chance. And you said, go right ahead. I was actually going to pull the application today. That's crazy that you hit me up about it. And then here we are. I just think that little thing, me not going to Tampa, really was meant to be, and just all what this can lead to and learn from you and everything. So I really think that this was meant to be on the South Side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I like to point that out just because so many people think that, it's always going to be a smooth path or everything that you plan in your life is just, supposed to go as planned. Like your thoughts were, I'm going to be down in Tampa, working major leagues, working with the minor league farm team and so on. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't meant to be. It's meant to be for you to be on the sidelines, on the South Side, and staying within your community, which I think is so important. Obviously, basketball has given us a lot. Mm-hmm. And us being right back in the community where, the game gave us so much, it, allows us this opportunity to give right back to the game. And, man, it's special. So we definitely appreciate the Yankees for making sure that we have you on our staff. So shout out to the Yankees. Now, what's one thing, because you're not too far removed from these high school kids, and then you play college basketball. How do you kind of, I don't know, I would say, I guess, pick and choose the fire or holding in the fire that you have from playing college basketball, which is high level, to like harnessing that fire as a coach? How do you pick and choose those moments?
So I try not to go too crazy, like blow it up and do all that, because you just got to know who you're coaching, and sometimes you can't overreact to some kids. And I think that's one of the things I've been learning this year is you got to know who you can talk to, how to talk to them, just so they can respond in a good way. It's not that you're doing it just because to be nicer to this kid or be harder on this kid. It's just that some kids react to different ways of coaching styles. So I think my fire also comes, I don't know if I really keep it in, because I be jumping around in practice. Every time we only got 9-8 players, I'm looking. I'm like, Coach, I'm ready. Give me that practice jersey. And then every time you give me a practice jersey to go in and practice with them, it's just so awesome because I'm just such a competitive guy. And I feel like even that goes with Coach Brown or Coach Hoffman that are still – even you if you wanted to, but like those dudes would be ready to help the team because it's also – you're so competitive that it'll just feed off – hopefully feed off into them, into the real games. But, I mean – I'm jumping up on the sideline too. I'm screaming and yelling. I try to hold my fire in as much as I can, but it releases. I can't hold it in. That's just who I am. If anybody asks, I'm just a outgoing, loud, obnoxious guy, and that's just outside of basketball. Imagine like in something I love to do on a daily basis.
Yeah,
explode.
So you knowing me. Probably more so off the court than on, specifically me as a coach on the sidelines. So when you thought of, BMO or Brandon or whatever, like I said, you saw me off the court a lot and great interactions, real cool. When you saw me in practice or in a game, did it ever click like in your head, like, whoa, this dude is totally different than what I expected or what I've seen from him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, I've known you for years now, but like you said, it's never been really basketball or how you've coached or stuff like that. And so really just seeing that, like, this is serious business. Like, it ain't something like, it's serious. Like, you got to take this seriously, and which I do. And it's just a whole different, like, it's like a whole 180. Like, we're getting to business, we're doing it, and then we can talk after and goof around after. But while we're in here, we're trying to get the kids better. We're trying to get to the mission of our goals that we have at the beginning of the season. And it's just crazy to see it because you're such a calm, cool guy when we're off the court, but when you're in practice or in the games, like you say, how do you keep your fire in? Mm-hmm. And it's awesome to see because that's what I would want from my coach is someone that has the drive and the passion and someone who really cares about the game as much as you do, because I would just get, as a player, seeing you, like if our players like should just feed off of you during practice, during games, because of how your nature of your fire and your passion and your caring for the game, and that's all you can ask for a coach, and it's just awesome to see. So yeah, those are the little things that I've seen from knowing you now on the court.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I only asked that question just because a couple people that have saw me, out in the community, or they know me, cool, calm, and then they came to a game and they was like, wait a minute.
Who's this dude?
Who is this dude? Someone even told my boss that, there are two different Brandons. The Brandon that you see at work is a totally different dude than you see on the sidelines.
Well, that's good, though. You're able to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah,
good,
yeah, definitely. So I want to allow you an opportunity as a first-year coach. There may have been some questions that you want to ask me, and this is a post-game show, so there's no limits. Ask me any questions that you want to, and I'm gonna be as truthful as possible. I'm a truth teller.
Okay. So anywhere regarding like Tremper basketball or
Tremper basketball, whatever.
Win today.
Anything.
Okay. So, I mean, I kind of know it too, or I guess, but maybe just for the viewers and everyone else to know what is so down the road we're about halfway through the season,
Yep.
right? So basically, what are like the 4 main things, or not 4, just some main ideas that you think we can really use or need to do to get over this hump and keep the wins going? Because like you said today, you wrote on that whiteboard, 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
We fresh today. We starting the win streak today. So what do you think? What are some of the things that Tremper basketball can do on the court and off the court that can keep this run going down into March Madness?
So that's a loaded question.
Yeah, I know.
But one, obviously, when it comes to off the court, got to take care of business in the classroom. I'm a big advocate for education, and if you're not a student first, you can't get to the athlete part of this. You got to be a student, and just like we tell our players all the time, ask for help early and often. If you're thinking that you're struggling with anything in class, got to go ask for help. And when you go ask for help, if the teachers don't give you help, then you need to come to your parents and have your parents advocate for you. And if your parents can't advocate for you, reach out to your coaches, and then we will step in and kind of try to use our resources. So that's kind of the education part. But something that goes along with the education part is you got to be in school every day. Attendance is extremely important. If you're not there, that's just like missing a game. That's just like missing practice. So being at school every day is important, and then doing the work, completing the work, and then turning the work in on time. Obviously, within our program, we want 100%ers. So giving out your 100% to everything you're doing in the classroom is what's going to lead you to success. Whether you're the smartest kid or you're not the smartest kid, as long as you give that 100%, that's going to lead you to success on down the road. So that's what I think all of our players need to do and continue to do, especially next week as finals coming up. So that's going to be a crucial time. And I know a lot of schools deal with it every year where coaches are a little nervous because will we have some kids that are ineligible and not able to play the second half of the season or have to sit out for the 3 weeks or whatever the case may be. But it's an important time. Got to take care of the school books.
Yeah, even when I was in high school, I was stressing for my own teammates because you're like, man, we really need you. And there's a couple key players that were out for a decent amount of time that we needed to keep the winning streak going. And I mean, it just hurts your team, and you just gotta, like you said, just get it done in the classroom.
Yeah,
get it done.
So that's part of it. The other part, obviously, is basketball. And I think we just got to continue executing the small things. For me and for our program, as you already know, it's really about getting better every single day. In all honesty, parents might not want to hear this, and basketball fans may not want to hear this, but it's not even about the wins for me. It's not about the wins for me. It's really about getting better every single day and winning that day to the 100%. You win that day and get better that day, you're good. That means you're winning. And then you come back the next day and you get better and you win that day 100%. Imagine if you're doing that every single day of your life. You're not just winning at basketball, you're winning at life. And that's what's most important. So I think if we continue to do that, take care of the small things, get better every single day in every aspect, I think we'll be good to go. Because at some point, all of that is going to add up to wins on the court, W column.
Yep, exactly.
And even if it doesn't add up in the W column, you're still winning at life, and you got better every single day. You'll feel good about it when you go to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then so my next question is, basically, as you stated earlier, first year coach at the high school level. I mean, you've played at the highest levels, whether it's Division I, overseas, now you're coaching. So when you first became a coach at any level, assistant, head coach, what was like one of the biggest struggles that you can give me, or give me some advice? What was one of the biggest challenges as a coach that you had to overcome, and that you feel that you've grasped a better understanding at?
I guess I would say just really figuring out what makes each player tick. Because me as a player, I always did it one way. You know, I went hard. I went 100%. I never approached the game out of shape. You know, I was always doing the extra things, the little things. So as a coach, yes, you want all your players to be doing that, but it's really more about building those relationships with those players so they can understand what you're giving to them and what you want to get out of them. And for me, because I was young, right, and still competing, you know, I had to figure out, okay, how do I get to know these players to get what I want to get out of them? And I think that was one of my biggest challenges. And that's why I want to challenge, you know, all coaches and all young coaches too. When you're just joining a job, you're joining this business, you're joining this network, this brotherhood, is really taking the time to build a relationship and getting to know those players. And when you can do that, you'll have a lasting impact that will have players doing things far beyond what you thought they can do when you first started. So, yeah, and that's how you'll get the most out of the players.
Gotcha. I think those were my two main questions, and I'll definitely be taking that advice to heart as I keep growing under you, under Coach Moore, under Coach Young, Coach Brown, Coach Hoffman, Coach Lou, Coach Griffin, because we're all family and we all stay linked up. So definitely going to be learning more and more as the time goes on.
Yep. So I guess I got one last question before we cut it off. We're still under the 30-minute mark. If there were some aspiring coaches listening to this podcast, okay, because this one is probably going to go viral. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Line for Line podcast. This is a special network that's going to be hitting the airways everywhere. And since this is going to go viral, you're going to reach a lot of coaches and a lot of young guys that want to be coaches or just getting into their first year. Can you give them two pieces of advice of what you learned so far, whether it's from me as the head coach and running the program or from anybody or any players, but just two things that you learned that you can just pass on to the next coaches?
So I'll say my two things and then I'll kind of explain them. So basically, you got to be dedicated. You got to love the game. And if you don't have those two aspects as being a coach, then it might not be your fit, which is fine. And if you're kind of wishy-washy, then coach your kids, or when you get older, coach your kids or coach youth rec leagues and do all that, help volunteering. But at the varsity level, at the college level, at the pro level, you got to be dedicated and you got to have the passion and the love for the game. And I say dedicated for I'll explain dedicated a little bit. So me and you, or all the coaches, we get in. Our practice is at 6 o'clock. We're there by 5:30, so that's a half hour at least, and sometimes even earlier depending on what's going on that day. So we're there at 5:30 at least. And then our practice goes from 6 to 8. So then 8 o'clock hits. And me and you, or whoever wants to stay, we will always make sure that if players want to get up shots after practice or work on something, that we let them have the gym. And that could go anywhere from 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:30, 9:45, 10. And so that's an extra 2 hour of your day. Yep. And especially after, and this isn't a full-time job. This is because we love to do it. So you got work 9 to 5. I got a 9 to 5. All the coaches got 9 to 5s. So you're working two jobs. I don't really want to call coaching a job because, like I said, you got to love it to be able to coach it. So it's really just being able, and that goes with being dedicated. If you love the game, you'll be dedicated to it. And I think those are the two things. Because obviously I know that college practices go long. I know varsity practices go long. But not every day that I stay back and shoot after. Not every day while coaches are doing stuff or talking about things. So I really, if you're dedicated to the game, you'll be good. You'll be able to push through those hard times and be able to help those kids. Like just how we've hit a little road, we hit a little rough patch. My first rough patch as a varsity coach, and I was dedicated to the grind of getting these kids better, and it's only going to go up from there. And it's because I love the game. I study the game. We talk about the game all the time. Even at 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll text me a play real quick. Hey, coach, look at this. Well, you think we can put this in today in practice? Just little things like that, and that's because we love the game so much. So really, to the people that are listening, to the youth that think that they might not be able to play at the next level, or they're at even after the next level for them, if you want to be a coach, study the game. Go hard at it. Watch YouTube videos. Watch college basketball daily. Watch NBA basketball, and keep learning. Be dedicated. Be dedicated to your coaching craft each and every day, and it'll just all fall into place.
Wow. Take those tips, write those tips down, and then apply it to your life. Very helpful tips. And I just want to ask a follow-up question, and then we will leave it at that to close out this post-game show. So many people think that a lot of coaches can't coach. So many people think coaches are coaching for the money. And it almost sounds like a lot of people think coaches don't want to win. Have you seen that yet? Do you think, like, amongst our coaching staff, have you seen any of those things?
Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think any coach who coaches a sport is just doing it for the money. I honestly can't believe that. Just imagine I just can't imagine going to a job and just hating it every day and not wanting to be there. And also being a coach who doesn't want to win. Imagine just showing up to your 9 to 5 every day and just being a loser. I don't think anybody really wants to be considered a loser. They all want to be considered a winner. So for anybody that thinks that any coaches or our coaching staff, we don't want to win, we got our head coach is probably the most competitive dude out there. So trust me, he wants to win just as bad as anybody on our team, if not the one who wants to win the most. So on our coaching staff, absolutely not. We're all hungry. We got young dudes on there. We're all hungry. We want to win. We're not doing it for the money because, I mean, high school sports ain't paying the bills. They're not. So to say that we're doing it for the money or high school coaches are doing it for the money, I think is wrong. And even if they say NBA coaches are doing it for the money, well, that's their job. That if they get fired, then they're just have no income, or do something. So they're not just doing it for the money. They're doing it because they love the game. They're dedicated to the game. They want to keep getting better. But in our coaching staff, there ain't one person who's doing it for the money. There ain't one person that doesn't want to win. We're doing it for the kids, the youth, because we love basketball, want to stay in the game of basketball, and it just the overall success of trying to grow Tremper Trojans Southside basketball program for each and every year getting better. It's not about the money, and it's definitely not that we don't want to win, because we do want to win.
Excellent. So you guys heard it here with my main man, Coach Curtis, Andrew Curtis, getting it done. This is another episode of the Post Game Show with Coach Morris.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.